Leonine. So today we're going to talk about the changes to policing. So you might be watching this at home, or I might be chatting to you because I'm going to do an online live lesson as well. But for those of you that can't join that, I'm going to do this one as well. Okay, so we're going to sort of compare the early police force to the modern police force and find out about the different things that have changed. And there are a lot of categories. So first of all is obviously technology has changed a lot. So if we think back to the very early police, even in the days of like the Bow Street Runners, they have zero technology. If they needed to call for backup or like help, they would literally have to call for backup and help, be like, help, backup. You know, if someone's like 10 miles away, not gonna hear. But if you've got your police radio in your car, then they can easily come and help you out. You know, like in films when you always hear people on the radio and they're like, suspect is moving down the street, and then the police car like zooms after them. You know, helpful technology. I don't know what kind of films I've been watching. But anyway, technology is an important change. So just for things like catching criminals, so most like shops, actually probably all shops, important buildings will have CCTV. So you can check back in the records, you can detect the person who's committing the crime, and hopefully that will lead to their arrest. It's also very interesting talking about policing at the moment, because obviously that's highly significant. There's been a lot about the police force in the news, and with people in Bristol who took down the statue of Edward Colston, and they're looking at that footage which was played on the news to try and catch people responsible for the vandalism. So that's a really good example of how cameras and CCTV might be used. Another one is they have a proper database to record everything. You know, like we were speaking about in the days of Jack the Ripper, they were just writing things down on paper. You know, it's not going to be very well organised, you can't look things up as quickly, and now there's a central database for criminals' details, previous convictions, the people working on that case, everything like that. So that form of technology has got a lot better. Another one is crime detection. So I spoke a little bit about that on catching criminals, but also things like DNA recognition is a lot more is a lot better these days. Even, you know, when I was born in the early 90s, like DNA recognition was used, but it wasn't nearly as good. They've even come on a huge amount in the past sort of 10 years or so. So fingerprint recognition is used now. So a long time ago when I was at school, our house got burgled when I was at school, and the police came and took me and my family's fingerprints to identify what was stuff we'd been touching compared to the person that had stolen things. So that was really interesting to see. Obviously it was a bit rubbish because we got burgled. But anyway, that was a long time ago. Another one is, use of blood samples. So you can, maybe this is me just watching too much like crime US drama, which I really like, but you can tell how somebody was killed or how a body was moved by the direction of blood. And like say there was blood in somebody's hair, you could tell that by the imprint of the hair and the blood on maybe a car door or on somebody's house walls or something like that. So that's really, and people are experts in that. You can go and train in criminology and learn about all that, which is a really cool job to have. Another category is crime prevention. So say you get home from work or school and you think things look a little bit out of place and you notice some damage to your back door, but nothing seems to have been taken. It all seems fairly normal apart from that. Now you're not going to go and call 999 for that because, you know, the person is gone. You don't even know if they stole anything. But what you can do is you can call the non-emergency police and they can give you advice. they can say, you know, check for this, install a like sensor light, which can come on if somebody comes into a property, and then they'll say if you see the person there, then you can call 999, because then it will be classed as trespass. So for non-emergency situations, they can give you advice. And also there is the neighbourhood watch. So not all areas have them. It's more common, I think, in like suburbs of London rather than in places around here. But basically people look out for each other. So say maybe you're retired and you are home a lot during the day and you notice something, then you'll be able to report it. It's just kind of like being a good neighbour, looking out for each other. Another thing to mention is police carrying weapons. Now, the UK police are not licensed to carry guns or firearms in any way. However, they do still carry the truncheon, which is pretty much never used, but it's more of a like historical nod to what the original police were like. So they will carry that. Unless they're in sort of full-on riot gear, which you can actually see on the news in the protests, and you might see a policeman on the news using his truncheon to make the crowds disperse a bit. He's not actively, like, well, he shouldn't be, actively hurting anybody, but they're sort of almost like a barrier, yeah, so they're using it for defence a lot of the time. They are licensed to carry things like pepper spray, or a taser, which will momentarily immobilise you, but nothing that's going to cause serious damage, like no guns basically. We are not unlike the police in America, who are licensed to carry guns. And those are probably the main things. So we can sum it up in crime detection and prevention, technology, weapons, and things like keeping track of criminals in the database. So we're just going to think about, what do you think has been the biggest change? So have a think. All of those things I just said, which would be the biggest change to policing? Okay, and we're really coming very close to the end now. And I just want to say really well done to everyone, because I get so many people submitting work, and I know you're all working really, really hard, and we really haven't got long to go. So keep going, because you're all doing really, really well. Okay, and I will talk to you in either a lesson or another video. Bye.